This will give you an overview of what a system would look like with input conveyor, the saw, and an output system. This is obviously the saw here. We have an input system with input conveyor, the stillage arms, and the vertical guide roller. And then on the output side, we have the length stop and conveyor attached to the saw. You can see the input conveyor connects right to the saw. We have the vertical guide roller, and we would put one of these on each of the modules on the input side. You can see we just have one set up here. This would just be the headpiece. And you can see we can also attach the basically about a 16-inch stillage arms to the front of the roller conveyor. And again, this is extensible for up to 20 feet or so or more, depending on what your initial stock length is. Then on the output system, again, we have the roller conveyor and the length stop. This happens to be the programmable stop, and we'll get to the manual stop that you're looking at shortly. Take a look at the saw. The safety hood here is interlocked, so it has to be down during the sawing operation. You lift up and down. This is the control panel for the saw. This is your main disconnect. Hydraulics on is here. This is your saw blade speed selector, speed 1, speed 2. Basically speed 1 for solids, speed 2 for tubing. This is your automatic, this is your cycle start button here, cycle stop, hydraulic off. This is your blade position in the bottom. This is your top end position here. Basically this button is set in cycle, so as you listen, as the blade goes up to the material, listen for it to break through, hit the button to remember where it's at. This is your blade feed rate here, how fast the blade travels through the material. And this is a chart here that gives a good reference based on what you're cutting and what blade you have and what material size, what this should be set at. It's a good reference point for that. Setup on the machine, this is the vertical clamp here. Clamps the material on both sides of the blade. The blade is located in the slot below this table. If you do a lot of miter cutting, this is a medium turn consumable. You can see that as you do miter cuts, the idea is to cut up into the block. Adjustment on the vertical clamp. Found this crank handle here. The idea is to wind the clamp down to just above the material, back it off a half a turn, lock it down. This is the optional horizontal clamp that we're recommending for you guys. Again, what the idea here is this clamp pulls the material against the back fence before the vertical clamp comes down. And again, this is just a quick release and lock. It's got about 1/3 of an inch stroke on it. Again, it holds the material to the back. It's excellent for rounds, miter cutting, and if you wanted to do a small layer. When you look at miter cutting, the machine has positive stops at 45 left, 90, and 45 right. This ratchet here locks down the miter table. Just a little bit, you take this handle. So there's 45 left, 90, 45 right. There's a scale and vernier located here to do the angles in between. So there's a 30-degree cut, and so on. Alright, we're going to cut some 2x2 by quarter wall tube. So basically the operator pushes the tube up to a stop. Imagine your stop being here, or whatever length it needs to be. Again, the clamp and the horizontal vertical are set. We're going to operate the machine with the safety hood up. We've got it disconnected for demo use. We're cutting the size tube. We're going to cut in speed 2. We are applying coolant to the blade below the table, and you can get an idea of how it's going to cut here. There's 45 degrees. Again, material up to the stop. Hit the button. So there's our cut at 45 degrees. And if we want to go back to 90, again, we are losing the flood coolant. And you take a look at the table. See, it's fairly dry. We got just a couple of drips coming off of the tubes here. Obviously, you're going to make some chips in the metal, but so it's not too bad with the flood coolant. Again, the Acculib system would be even better as far as just a slight film on the tubes, and the chips would be virtually dry. I mentioned you want to see some angle iron cuts, so here's some like 2x2 by at least quarter wall. So bring the angle in, reset the top clamp. The video that will be next after this is kind of the salesy more video of it, and that'll show more of the how to set up the machine and do a blade change and the length stop and all that kind of stuff. So I'll send a couple pieces of the cut pieces along with this video for you.